next section is file access method. So once we are going to access a file, we use mainly three methods. First one, sequential access method, then direct access and index access. So in chapter 2, you have already learned these two types, that means sequential access and random access. Just we'll see the chapter 2 notes, what we have done. Sequential access start at the beginning and read through in order. So first part, play the email, read it, then second part, then third one. Likewise, we are when we are using the sequential access, it is going according to the order. For example, cassette player, cassette tape recorder. So then if we have to sing the first national anthem, then only school anthem. Likewise, first record will play first, then the second one. Sequential access order is there in the cassette player. Then when we take the random access method, that means as wherever we need, we can jump it and use it. Like a direct, another name we can call it as a direct access method. So in chapter 2, we discussed this one as a random access method. That means from the first one to second one. Then second one is in another location. Then second one to third one. So here and there the file is allocated. So can jump according to the given order. That means files are not in particular sequence order. So it is in here and there like jumble. So random access method we can use to jump over the files in randomly. So individual address identified directly and access the data immediately. So not in the sequence order of the file, it is here and there, the file will be there. Okay. So these two sections we have discussed in the chapter 2. If you want, you can take the print screen of this page, those who need. And now we will discuss according to the operating system chapter, what are the main three types. Okay. So first one, sequential access. That means access in order, one record after another. Same as the sequential access method what we discuss in the chapter 2. Then second one, direct, another name, random access method, is in any order, skipping over the uninteresting records. So we can jump over the given files and move into the required one. That means skipping over the uninteresting records. The next one is indexed access. That means each and every file has allocated some index number. So once needed that number, then according to that, it is pointing out to the next number. Like, for example, you in your school, you may have the class number. Student number is there. So according to the student number, teacher is calling attendance. So likewise, according to the numbers, for example, that cleaning chart, Monday 1 to number 5. That group is going to clean the classroom. Then Tuesday 5 to 10. So then Thursday, Wednesday 10 to 15. Likewise, the cleaning chart is working. So according to the index number, teacher is calling to clean up. So like if we use the hard disk files according to the index numbers, we call it as index allocation. So access in any order, but based on the key values. Key value mean given index number. So these are the main three tasks what we are going to discuss in the operating system. But in chapter 2, we discuss only two types. Okay, shall we? Yeah, first write that one, then I'll discuss the rest. Okay, next one we are going to discuss about the directory and the file organization. So directories are used to organize file to logical categories. So when we are using directories, it is in the logical category. Okay. So a directory is a file that can be searched for information about other files. So using directories, we can search, for example, C drive, D drive, like that. So directories are the logical category. Okay. So that point is needed. First point, directory is a file that can be searched for the information about other files. So for example, if I want to check about my external hard drive and find operating system nodes, then I can select the external hard drive, and in the search bar, I can type the required one. So then I can check only for the external hard drive directly. So like when we select some kind of directory, whatever the directory, we can search it quickly. So in entries in a directory, file are created, deleted, and modified when the files they describe are created, deleted, or modified. That point no need. Directories are continual, used, organized, file logically. So I think only the first 2 points is enough. Okay, copy only these first 2 points. Because most of the thing you know, I just put those who haven't done OLLICT just to refer that. Huh? Next, we are going to discuss about the file structure. So file structure is a format the operating system can understand, not for the user. How the operating system is going to understand, that one we call as a file structure. Then a file has a certain defined structure according to the file type. A text file is a sequence of characters organized into lines. So if we take a text file, it consists of lines. So we call it as it organized according to the lines. And object file, for example, half executed file, when we take Python shell prompt, if once we are going to execute some programs, we call it as object file. So object file is a sequence of bytes organized into blocks that understandable by the machine. So halfway, not only actually halfway, while executing, it convert into the machine code. That means there will be a converter. We call translators. Okay. So later you will study what are the object files. So anyhow, finally, we need the machine code. Using that, machine can understand. So if you want to type ABC letter, even there is a machine code. But we can't understand. Only the object files can understand. That means there will be translation. Python code also going to translate into the object code, then into the machine code. If you want to copy a file and print some code, so those things also done with the machine code. So object file is a byte organized block. So that one used to call for the machine. Later you will study more than that. Okay. So time being, just write this slide. Okay, next one is file systems. So now we are going to see how the file is saved. That means file is structured and stored inside the storage devices. Okay, so file system is used to control how the data is stored or retrieved. How we are going to store the data and how are we going to retrieve. Retrieve means taking back, reading the information which are there inside the hard disk or external drive, how we are going to take it out. So there are 2 types of methods. First one is FAT. You may know that external hard drivers, while we are formatting, it's asking whether you want to format using FAT or NTFS. Normally, FAT32 is the format what we are going to use. So FAT file allocation table means it consists of small table where the file is located. Okay, that means inside the pen drive, one file, small file is executing, but we can't access it. It's inside that or hard drive or pen drive, no, normally USB drivers. So it consists of a FAT file allocation table. That means it identifies where the file is. So just think, if your pen drive is formatted, can you take the file back? Only one time if you format. Can you take the file back? You can recover using the recovery software, not with the normal pen drive. But that means if you formatted it, but you can take it back unless you are not overwritten that. If you override the pen drive, that means if you save another file on top of that, after you format it, if you save another file or if you override that, then you can't take the file back unless you are you haven't overwrite it, you can take it back using the recovery software. So you have to install the recovery software into laptop and you can take it back. But some file may be corrupted, may not in original way. So there may be some damages in the file. But anyhow, we can call it back. Why? When we are formatting this FAT file, keep some memory space. So with the help of recovery software, we can call the memory backward using this one. But if you overwrite, you can't take it back. That means actually FAT file doesn't consist of the security option or recovery option. That is a third party. We are going to install that software into our machine and call it back. Okay, so that is not in the pen drive, but the software we are downloading and installing to our machine and call it back. Then next one is NTFS. So NTFS means new technology file system. That's what we are using in our normal hard drive, hard disks today even. So that is the latest one. Okay, so I'll just explain these two and later we'll write it. Okay, so now look at file allocation table. That is the old method. Normally we call as FAT32. So when you look at this one, you can see my pen drive is showing Suhashi, the 2021 pen drive is visible there. So that pen drive shows that EX FAT. Okay, so then when you consider the C drive, it shows the NTFS. C drive is what? It is inside the hard disk. And G driver B is NTFS. Then driver D NTFS. Okay, like the hard disk file allocation is according hard disk file system is like NTFS structure, but the pen drive USB drive shows the FAT file system. Normally we call FAT32. Then yes, so latest one we call NTFS. We'll discuss those points first. So FAT is a file system introduced with the Microsoft Disk Operating System, that is DOS. So DOS platform, we use the FAT file system, file allocation table. So FAT uses a file allocation table to keep track of files in storage devices. That means that file knows where the file is located inside the pen drive. Okay, so FAT and the root directory reside at the fixed allocation of the volume, so that file system boot up file can be correctly located. So when we are going to use the pen drive, we can directly call the file with the help of FAT. If the FAT is not there, we can't take it back. That's what normally says before you save the document in the pen drive, asking us to format the pen drive very first time. So we are formatting and arranging the pen drive. Okay, so to protect the volume, 2 copies of FATs are kept. So normally 2 FAT files are kept in there in the USB drive. Now FAT system is used with external drivers such as pen drivers. But now today NTFS use improved version of FAT32. So earlier FAT32 used, but now we have the NTFS with the latest operating system. And another point, FAT is a file system used by Windows NT. Windows NT means network Windows NT. So operating system. No need to write this one. The file allocation FAT is table that can operating system maintain on hard disk. That means previous, it provides the map of the cluster. Cluster means what? Adjacent sectors inside the hard disk, because there are tracks and sectors, each track divided into sectors. So if we take adjacent sectors, we call as a cluster. Data stored inside the clusters. One sector is not enough to store data. Therefore, adjacent sectors, it may be 4, 5, or 10 may be there. So according to the file size, it will allocate the space. So we call adjacent sectors as clusters. So that has been stored in. So file may be stored inside adjacent sectors, or we can call clusters, so that will map in the fat file where it is saved, like in first cluster or second cluster, like. So basic units of logical storage on the hard disk we call as a cluster. Is this clear? This slide no need, right? Just to know. So when we, that technology used in all, that mean as soon as DOS operating system came, but with the hard disks, that means year to 1990, like that, before year 2000, this system used, but now we have latest technology. So we are using NTFS. All earlier days we use the FAT. Now FAT is used only for the USB pen drives. Is this clear? Then shall we start writing? If you have any question, now you may can ask.